very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses Parivartan rally in Kanpur, says history will remember demonetization move as the moment when 125 crore people stood together to defeat corruption. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi targets Prime Minister Modi, claims note ban decision is neither against corruption or black money but against farmers and poor people. RBI imposes stiff restrictions on depositing scrapped 500 and 1000 rupee notes, says old notes in excess of 5000 rupees will be received for credit only once during the period till December 30th, 2016. Retirement fund body EPFO lowers interest on employers' provident fund deposits for the current fiscal to 8.65%. More than 4 crore subscribers are expected to be affected. And in the Chennai Test, India piles on the runs. Karun Nair scores his first triple ton as the team declares at 759 for 7. England end fourth day on 270 runs behind at 12 for no loss. Well, the political battle on the issue of demonetization has shifted to the poll-bound state of Uttar Pradesh. Both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi took potshots at each other in public rallies in the state.
2 days after the winter session of Parliament was washed out due to a stalemate over the issue of demonetization, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a dig at the opposition parties in a public rally in Kanpur.
पूरा महीना संसद चलने नहीं दी। ये संसद क्यों चलने नहीं दी भाई? पार्लियामेंट में चर्चा क्यों नहीं की? राष्ट्रपति के कहने के बाद भी हो हल्ला करते रहे, नारे बुलाते रहे। ये इसलिए करते थे कि जिन मुद्दों पर सरकार चर्चा चाहती थी, इससे वो भाग रहे थे।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, however, launched a counter-attack on the Prime Minister. Gandhi, who is on a nationwide tour against the Modi government's demonetization decision, termed it as anti-poor.
मैंने हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री को कहा, आप हिंदुस्तान के किसान का कर्जा माफ करो। सवाल का जवाब नहीं दिया। उन्होंने एक शब्द नहीं कहा। यह है हिंदुस्तान की सच्चाई। मजदूरों के बारे में नरेंद्र मोदी कहते हैं, पार्लियामेंट में कहा कि ये लोग पूरा दिन गड्ढा खोदते हैं।
Opposition parties, including the Congress, have raised several questions on the decision. The government, on its part, have been defending the decision to demonetize 500 and 1000 rupee denomination notes. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
Well, new restrictions for depositing old 500 and 1000 rupee notes have been imposed by the RBI. The central bank has announced restrictions on depositing more than 5000 rupees in the defunct 500 and 1000 rupee currency. Such deposits will be accepted only after scrutiny from two bank officials. These curbs, however, are not applicable to the deposits for taxation under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana 2016.
If you still possess the scrapped 500 and 1000 rupee notes totaling over 5000 rupees, then you need to hurry up. The RBI on Monday issued a fresh set of limits for such deposits. Old bank notes in excess of 5000 rupees can be deposited into a bank account only once till December 30th. Deposits over 5000 rupees can be made only after questioning by two bank officials. An audit trail will also be created for a later stage. A satisfactory explanation on the deposit made would be needed. Even when deposits lesser than 5000 rupees are made in an account, but the cumulative deposits since November 8 exceed 5000 rupees, it will invite scrutiny. The accounts must also be compliant with KVIC, otherwise deposits can be restricted to 50,000 rupees.
This may put many people to hardship. those who have thought that they could deposit it at the fag end, because there may be many people who have the cash in hand, they say, all right, yearly we will deposit it, and they are using, I will say, cashless currency. They are not using their money, and they say, yes, some cash is lying, we'll deposit it.
The government maintains that RBI's decision is aimed at discouraging a surge in deposits of unaccounted money in regular bank accounts. The opposition, however, has it out at the government for allegedly causing hardships to the people and constantly changing rules.
कुछ आदमी हैं जो पैसे जमा करा रहे हैं अपनी लीगल मनी, लेकिन एक साथ नहीं जमा करा रहे हैं। तो हम ये कह रहे हैं कि भाई आपके पास है तो आप एक साथ जमा करा दो ना, आप क्यों लंबी क्यों कर रहे हो?
40 days, 125 notification that would read 3 notifications a day. Is this government aware of what they're doing? Is this government aware of what they're doing to the people of India? Are they trying to tell us that the money that is in their pockets today is all black money?
At the time of demonetizing high-value bills, the government had said people should not panic and prod banks as enough time to deposit or exchange money was assured. RBI on December 13 announced that a total of 12.44 lakh crore rupees in scrap notes had been deposited. This is close to 80% of the currency that turned defunct after the demonetization announcement. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Provident Fund subscribers will get a lower interest rate on their deposits this year as compared to last year. The Employees Provident Fund Organization, or EPFO, fixed 8.65% rate of interest on PF deposits for the current fiscal year. This is a cut from the previous rate of 8.8% interest rate last year. The decision was taken on Monday by Central Board of Trustees CBT, the apex decision-making body of the EPFO, at a meeting in Bengaluru despite objections raised by the trade unions. The move will impact over 4 crore employees who contribute part of their salary towards the Provident Fund kitty. The lower interest rate on Provident Fund deposits came in the wake of a general decline in interest rate across different financial savings instruments, including bank fixed deposits and small savings schemes. Meanwhile, even as the government justified the appointment of Lieutenant General Bipin Rawat as the army chief superseding 2 commanders, opposition parties have maintained that there are legitimate questions on the decision. The Defence Ministry has stated that the selection is the sole prerogative of the government and based purely on merit.
The political row over the appointment of the new army chief continued on Monday. Both the Congress and the left have questioned the government on its motive behind appointing Lieutenant General Bipin Rawat to the post, superseding Lieutenant General Praveen Bakshi and Lieutenant General PM Hariswaz.
India's reply to Pakistan is not fitting enough. And I think it is time that the government comes clean and tells us what are the steps they're taking to protect our brave soldiers. They're dying in the borders. There is a new army chief in the making. There's break in the hierarchy. What is this government up to? This government should respect the hierarchy in the army. At one end, at the top end, they're insulting senior officers. And no reason for that.
Even as it called the appointment the government's prerogative, there is one section of the Congress that holds that the decision should not be questioned.
चाहे वो सेना के प्रमुखों की नियुक्ति का मामला हो या सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस की नियुक्ति का मामला हो, ऐसे मामलों में केवल वरिष्ठता नहीं, वरिष्ठता के अलावा अन्य बहुत सारी चीजों को भी ध्यान में रखा जाता है। देश की सुरक्षा के लिए क्या सर्वोत्तम है, ये निर्णय तत्कालीन सरकार करती है।
Highlighting the division in the Congress view, the BJP lashed out at the party.
If important appointments like Army Chief's appointment is dragged into the political arena, we had seen as to how a section in the Congress were trying to politicize this. And today, we see another section in the Congress. They are against the old section.
Other opposition parties also criticized the government's decision. The left parties stated that the government needs to explain.
The statement that the Politburo has issued concerns the departure from a precedent that the senior-most general becomes the chief. And by departing from this established procedure, certainly questions arise as to the motivation of the government.
Media reports state that it is the first time since 1983 that the senior-most candidate has not been chosen to replace an outgoing army chief. Rawat has experience working along the line of control in Kashmir. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on now, the National Investigation Agency has filed a charge sheet in the Pathankot Air Base terror attack of January 2nd this year. The charge sheet names Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar and 3 others of his outfit as accused. In the charge sheet, NIA highlights the role of JEM in spreading mayhem in India and refers to the nefarious plans of the outfit. The charge sheet, which also named Azhar's brother Rauf Asghar as an accused, alleged that immediately after the attack, Asghar had hosted a video message claiming responsibility for the strike and glorifying the role of Masood Azhar. The charge sheet is likely to be used by India at various international fora to highlight the role of Azhar in the Pathankot attack. A diplomatic offensive against the JEM and Azhar is imperative as China continues to stonewall India's efforts to get UN sanctions against the terrorist and his group. 4 terrorists had carried out the attack, killing 8 people, including 7 personnel of the IAF and NSG. The charge sheet names all the 4 terrorists involved in the attack. In other news now, Kyrgyzstan President Almazbek Atambayev arrived in Delhi on Monday on a 4-day state visit to India. Defence, security, trade and connectivity will be high on the agenda of talks between the Prime Minister and the visiting President. During the visit, Atambayev is also expected to attend a joint business forum. He is leading a high-level delegation comprising of ministers, senior officials and business leaders. This is the first visit to India as President.
Kyrgyzstan President Almazbek Atambayev received a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Monday. Atambayev is on a 4-day official visit to India. He is expected to hold bilateral discussions with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The 2 countries are expected to sign various agreements to deepen ties in areas of defense, security, trade and connectivity. The President will have official engagements on December 20th.
Kyrgyzstan is in the next neighborhood, a fact which can be understood by the fact that the distance is not more than 1600 kilometers. So it may be perhaps closer than many of the cities within the country. The location itself is strategic. We know where it is located, with which countries it borders. So that also makes sure us have very solid relationship with them.
India and Kyrgyzstan share excellent relations marked by strong ties in all areas, including political and defense, education and human resource development, culture and tourism. In July last year, Modi visited Kyrgyzstan, during which the 2 countries signed 4 agreements to boost defense cooperation. Kyrgyzstan is on the western border of China and is strategically very important for India. A sizable number of Indian students study in that country. Telemedicine and medical tourism are 2 areas that have seen significant growth in the past few years. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other news from across the country in Nationwide. A special NIA court in Hyderabad today sentenced Indian Mujahideen co-founder Yasin Bhatkal and 4 others to death in the 2013 Dilsukh Nagar blast case. Bhatkal, Ziaur Rahman and 4 others are the prime accused in the case. The NIA, which probed the case, concluded that the blasts were engineered by the IM operatives. Out of the 6 accused in the case, the investigating agency arrested 5. However, the main accused, Riaz Bhatkal, is absconding. Violence spread to Senapati district of Manipur with 2 vehicles being torched even as indefinite curfew remained in force in Imphal East district. Mobile and internet services have been snapped to stop the spread of rumours. The curfew first came into force on Sunday afternoon after locals resorted to violence and vandalised vehicles on Imphal Ukhrul Road while protesting against the economic blockade by the United Naga Council on the national highways that is underway since November 1st. A day after filing a petition in the Supreme Court demanding a probe into the death of former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha's expelled ADMK leader Sasikala Pushpa on Monday said a proper inquiry should be conducted as the people of Tamil Nadu want to know the actual reason of Jayalalitha's death. A similar plea was also filed last week in the apex court by Tamil Nadu Telugu Yuva Shakti, claiming that doubts have been raised over the circumstances of the AIADMK leader's death and her medical reports needed to be examined by experts. The Madras High Court has banned unauthorized Sharia courts functioning on mosque premises in Tamil Nadu. The High Court clarified that religious and other places of worships are meant for religious purposes only. The court was responding to a PIL stating that the Makkah Masjid Shariat Council was functioning like a regular court from a mosque in the Anna Salai area of Chennai. Cold wave conditions continue in most of North India with temperatures going below 0 degrees. Water bodies are frozen in the higher reaches. Leh in Ladakh region of Jammu and Kashmir recorded the coldest night of the season as the mercury there settled nearly 14 degrees below the freezing point. The minimum temperature dipped further to 6.6 degrees Celsius in the national capital this morning, a notch below normal. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Maternity benefit law. People have said that it caters only to the women in the formal sector.
We are talking about women in formal employment. How do you cater to somebody who's not employed?
Can the political class really prohibit themselves from treating women as a vote bank?
And nobody can treat anybody as a vote bank unless you want to be treated as a vote bank.
Do you also feel suffocated at times in politics? Probably that you're not able to do what you think?
Because I do exactly what I want to do.
And you're allowed to do that?
No, nobody has to allow me.
Watch To The Point with Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, in cricket, a brilliant triple ton from Karun Nair put India in the driving seat in the fifth and final test against England in Chennai. Playing only his third test, Nair became only the second Indian after Virender Sehwag to score a triple hundred. Nair, who remained not out on 303, was well supported with 50s from Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja as the hosts reached their highest ever test total. India declared at 759 for 7 with 282 runs lead. At the end of day's play, England were 12 for no loss in their second innings, still trailing by 270 runs. India will look to push for a victory on the final day as they look to wrap up the series with another win. The hosts have already an unassailable 3-0 lead in the 5-match series. Meanwhile, India on Sunday scripted history as they claimed the Junior Hockey World Cup title after a gap of 15 long years with a clinical 2-1 victory over Belgium in the final in Lucknow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the men's junior hockey team for winning the World Cup, saying that the victory will popularize the sport amongst youngsters.
After scripting history on Sunday by lifting the Junior Hockey World Cup title for a second time, the Indian team was accorded a warm welcome in the national capital on Monday. The men's junior hockey team won the World Cup after a gap of 15 years with a clinical 2-1 victory against Belgium in the final. It was also the first time that a host nation won the tournament since its inception.
It was a tough competition, but the good thing was from this team that they saved the best for last. Because the first half yesterday in the final they really played outstanding.
ज़्यादा खुशी हो रही थी हमें क्योंकि हमारे पास अभी कप है वर्ल्ड कप का और बहुत ज़्यादा खुशी थी हमें कि हम जीते हैं टूर्नामेंट और वर्ल्ड भी बहुत खुश है इंडिया प्राउड है पूरा हमारे पे और हमें बहुत ज़्यादा खुशी है.
The host scored two beautifully crafted field goals in the first half of the match. Gurjant Singh scored in the 8th minute of the game, the Indians kept up the pressure and doubled their lead in the 22nd minute through Simranjeet's reverse shot from top of the circle.
They couldn't write the script any better if they tried. Simranjeet has his...
Belgium could only manage a late consolation goal through Fabrice Van Bordrick's penalty corner conversion in the 70th minute. Congratulatory messages have poured in from across the nation after the win. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to Twitter to wish the team, saying the victory will make the sport even more popular among youngsters. Sports Minister Vijay Goyal also hailed the team for its brilliant performance.
सारा देश इस पे गौरवान्वित है कि हमारी हॉकी जूनियर टीम जो है वर्ल्ड चैंपियंस बनी है। हॉकी के अंदर हम लगातार बढ़ रहे हैं और हमारी स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्ट्री चाहती भी अब यही है कि सभी स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन्स को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फैसिलिटीज़ मिले ताकि वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वर्ल्ड टूर्नामेंट्स के अंदर पदक जीत के आएँ। तो मैं उनको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ।
वाकई में देश का गौरव बढ़ाया और देश के गौरव के साथ साथ वो सम्मान बढ़ाया जो हॉकी को मिलना चाहिए था। खेल के थ्रू, मेडल के थ्रू और जूनियर वर्ल्ड कप के इन खिलाड़ियों ने आज देश को तोहफा दिया है।
Germany, meanwhile, had to contend with a bronze medal after outclassing Australia 3-0 in the third-fourth place playoff match. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Here's a roundup of the other sports news in Sports Beat. Indian chess ace Vishwanathan Anand drew his last round game against Vladimir Kramnik to finish fourth in the London Chess Classic. Anand also finished fourth in the Grand Chess Tour, which means that he will have direct qualification in the 2017 edition. American Grandmaster Wesley So won the tournament. Australia prevented a world record 490-run chase by Pakistan to win a gripping first test by just 39 runs. Asad Shafiq's sublime century, along with sturdy support from tailenders, took the visitors near to victory after starting the final day on 382 for 8. However, Shafiq's wicket put the curtains on a chase, with Pakistan being bowled out for 450. Despite the loss, Pakistan equalled the third highest score made in the fourth innings of any test. Cristiano Ronaldo's hat-trick helped Real Madrid to come from behind to beat Kashima Antlers 4-2 in extra time in the Club World Cup final. 11 times champions Real who won the tournament for the second time in 3 years, were trailing 1-2 in the second half. Ronaldo levelled with a penalty and scored twice more in the first extra time. Barcelona defeated Espanyol 4-1 to move up to second place in La Liga. Luis Suarez scored twice, while Messi and Jordi Alba scored a goal each in Barca's dominating victory. Barca are now 3 points behind leaders Real Madrid, who have one game in hand and could regain 6 points lead over their arch rivals. Also, international news now. Evacuations of people from eastern Aleppo and other areas under siege in northern Syria are picking up pace. The delicate process resumed late on Sunday after several hours of delay, after a number of buses were set on fire, allegedly by Al-Qaeda-linked militants. The current evacuation deal was reached after 2 ceasefires crumbled and after protracted negotiations brokered by Russia and Turkey.
Huge relief and hugs as a new batch of people from East Aleppo reached safely in rebel-held El Rashidin. This is the latest group to be evacuated from the embattled city of Aleppo. While 9,000 people were evacuated before operations were suspended on Friday, 3,000 more will be taken away on Monday. Evacuation of civilians and rebels from eastern Aleppo were to begin this weekend under a new deal agreed to by both government forces and rebels. But the plan was put on hold on Sunday after a number of buses were set on fire.
هذا الاتفاق هو اتفاق إنساني بامتياز، لأن الحالات التي تم إخلاءها هي حالات إنسانية. يعني أولا تم إخلاء الجريح والمريض والحالات المسنة من داخل الفوعة وقفية. أو يعني الدفعة الأولى هي.
Among those rescued was a 7-year-old girl, Bana Al-Abed, whose tweets about life in East Aleppo under bombardment captured the attention of hundreds of thousands of people on social media.
But many are languishing in the winter cold and hundreds are still being held at the Syrian government checkpoint, and also those who are still in East Aleppo await rescue through the evacuation deal, which is overseen by Red Cross and Red Crescent volunteers.
نحن من تجار حلب المدينة القديمة عائلة سواحة معروفين أبا عن جد بكلف الخياطة فقدنا محلنا كله راي هذا البقيان من الإرهاب المدمر.
Eastern Aleppo has been held by rebels since 2012, but the latest government offensive squeezed them into ever smaller corners of the city, along with thousands of civilians, before evacuation started last week. While civilians are being moved to safety in Syria, the UN Security Council is to discuss sending monitors to oversee mass evacuations. There are hopes that countries divided on Syria's fate will come to an agreement on the crisis.
The text contains all of the elements for safe, secure, dignified evacuation, for humanitarian access into those who choose to remain in eastern Aleppo, and a real emphasis on protection, which is all of what has been missing in Syria throughout the life of this conflict.
Russia, which has supported President Assad with airstrikes since September 2015, has used its veto power 6 times to shoot down UN resolutions on the conflict, while China has vetoed 5 of those 6. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. Southeast Asian foreign ministers met Myanmar's leader Aung San Suu Kyi in Yangon on Monday following reports of Myanmar's treatment of its Muslim ethnic Rohingya minority. The meeting was held to call for an end to the humanitarian crisis. This is the first time that foreign ministers from ASEAN countries have met to discuss the issue. Cities across China choked under a vast cloud of toxic smog, with forecasters warning that the worst was yet to come. According to the National Meteorological Center, haze has covered about 1.4 million square kilometers of China's total land area. A host of emergency measures have been implemented to protect the public's health from the smog. In Beijing, PM 2.5 levels were at 212 micrograms per cubic meter. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for a suicide attack that struck a gathering of pro-government forces in Yemen's temporary capital of Aden. The attack had left 49 soldiers dead. An online statement by the Islamic State said that more than 70 apostates were killed in the jihadist attack launched by our martyr against soldiers in Aden. That's it on this edition of the newscast. Have a good evening.